recording this session, so please don't put any personal details into the chat. If you do want to send me a private message, that obviously won't show on the recording. So if you go to chat, you'll see in the chat box, you can actually choose who you send your messages to, either everybody, or you can just specify it to myself or Nada. So if there is anything from a personal level, put it to myself. Don't put it into the main chat. And also, if you can keep yourselves on mute, I will open up for any questions. But if you do have any questions, again, pop them in the chat. I am looking at the chat the whole time. So if you notice I'm not looking at the camera, it's because usually I'm just looking over here, which on this screen is the chat box and all your names. So I can see everything as we go through, but I will open up the opportunity if you do need to come off mute to ask any questions. I will try my best to answer the questions. Obviously, AI is a very broad topic, and it can be a very complex topic as well. As I say, I will try not to overwhelm everybody because this is a introduction session on it. But as I say, I will try and answer your questions. If I can't, I'll find you an answer and I'll email you at a later time. So what is the session today on? It is all on AI, also known as artificial intelligence. Now, you, just like me, have probably heard about AI non-stop, especially in the last couple of years, and it seems to be more prevalent than ever. And some of us are probably sick of hearing about AI. Now, the reason for that is because there have been huge developments in recent years around artificial intelligence. Now, AI isn't something new. It has been around for decades in very simplistic forms if we go way back. But as I say, today we are starting to see this huge breakthrough and more investment than ever into the field of artificial intelligence. And alongside that, we obviously hear about all those scary conversations people are having, all those topics about, oh no, AI might get intelligence. And yes, it is a serious topic. It is one that you do see actual companies and businesses now having serious conversations with government to discuss strategies around this. But it is something that isn't going to go away. And the reason for that is because its use case effectively, and if we look at it down to a simple level, it does make our lives a lot easier. Because what it does is it basically uses, it's doing what usually would require human intelligence, and now it's able to do most tasks for us. And I say AI is a huge topic, and it does reach into almost every industry, and it can impact, and probably we use it every day on some level or not, whether we know it or not. We'll go through that today. Now, today's session primarily will be on chat box artificial intelligence. I'll get into what that means. I'll get into all of that. I'll go through it in detail. I'll also walk through some examples of chatbots and just show you how you can get the most use out of those to actually support you day to day in whatever task it is that you're using it to integrate into. Now, before I get onto that, we'll go through a bit more in what AI is and just showcase some of those use cases that we're seeing it in. So let's just jump into that. So firstly, I've just put a dictionary definition straight on the screen there. If you type in what is artificial intelligence, you'll get something like this pop up. Basically, it's a field of computer science, and it is focused on creating systems or machines that can perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence. It's taking out the need for human, and it's replacing it with AI. And you can obviously see the draw to that. If something's going to take away a task that's usually going to take me several hours to do and just do it itself, I will go ahead and try and use that if I can, if it's going to make my life easier and save me time. Now, these tasks include learning from experience, using natural language recognition patterns, problem solving, and decision making. There are several different key aspects to AI, which again, I'm just going to run through really quickly. And you will be able to access the recording for this, so if it's something you want to delve more into, you definitely can replay what I'm about to go through. So firstly, one key aspect is machine learning, and it's a subset of AI where algorithms improve through experience. So it basically involves training models on large data sets, and it looks to recognize patterns and make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed to perform the task. So again, basically, you've got an algorithm, a computer system, and it's looking at a huge data set, and it will try and make predictions on what's going to happen next without being programmed to do that. I'll give you a real example of that in the finance sector, and this is something that's been used for a number of years now. They have huge computer algorithms. They have whole buildings, huge buildings where all the floors are filled with computer, very, very powerful computer programs, extremely powerful computer programs. And they've been running for years. And what they're doing is they're collecting all the data they possibly can on everything that's ever happened in the markets, so the financial markets. And it's basically looking at all that data on its own, and it's learning through all that data from experience. It's developing, and then it will make predictions on what it thinks will happen in the future. So basically uses everything that's ever happened and then predicts what's going to happen next. And that prediction, that computer algorithm, will then effectively trade the market. So they'll go buy or sell stocks and shares based on those predictions. And big banks, corporations, governments, they've been using these algorithms for many years to do this. And it's scarily accurate when you actually look into the science behind it. Now, another one is deep learning, so a future subset of machine learning that uses neural networks with many layers, so hence deep, to analyze various factors of data. And it's particularly effective in tasks like image and speech recognition. Now, the next one is natural language processing, and this is the one that we're going to look at today in detail, because natural language processing, shortened down to NLP, that is the ability for artificial intelligence to understand, interpret, and generate human language. So it enables applications like chatbots, translation services, and also voice-activated assistants. And again, we're probably used to those, such as things like Alexa, Siri. Again, this all uses that natural language processing. Just a few more very quickly. You've got computer vision, so capability of AI to interpret and make decisions based on visual input from the world, so images and videos. It interprets them, makes decisions, and it's used in facial recognition, so autonomous vehicles as well, and even medical image analysis. You have robotics, one that we're probably all familiar with. So it deals with the design and creation of robots. And those robots can perform tasks like building cars, for instance, or simple manufacturing jobs, to complex actions like surgery. Again, we're seeing a lot of integration of these robots that are being developed for surgery. Expert systems, so again, AI programs that mimic the decision-making abilities of human experts. And they're used in fields like medicine, finance, engineering. And then finally, reinforcement learning. So that's a type of AI, a type of machine learning where an agent learns to make decisions based on taking actions in an environment to achieve the maximum reward. So for instance, used in gaming, playing games, or robotics. Now, AI technologies are used, as I say, in various applications. So we've given examples on healthcare. So for instance, diagnosing, personalized medicine, surgery. We've got finance. So again, I showed those algorithmic trading where they're predicting the market. You also have fraud detection as well. So a lot of banking uses AI to detect fraud. And we all, or some of us might have had those things flag up on our banks or banking where it said there could have been a fraudulent activity. Again, that's AI looking for that. And then we've got transportation. So self-driving cars and customer service. You see the use of chatbots, but there are so many more. And as I say, every day this is increasing at an exponential rate, and we're seeing more investment going into this now than we've ever seen. So overall, AI aims to enhance and automate tasks, improve efficiency, enable new capabilities in various domains. But as I say, today we'll be looking at one specific aspect of AI, and that is natural language processing in the form of chatbots and how to utilize these to support our day-to-day, our personal lives, our work. Really, we can use it for a lot of different situations. Now, 4 of the most popular AI chatbots that are widely recognized for their advanced capabilities and extensive usage are these 4 that I put on the screen. And probably all of us have come across at least one of these 4. So first, you've got ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, created by OpenAI. What is that? Well, basically, it excels at understanding and generating human-like text. So it makes it versatile for various applications. What can it do? Well, it engages in natural, coherent conversations. It answers queries. It provides detailed explanations, and it can be used for content creation. A really beneficial side to ChatGPT, and something that has stood it out from most other resources and why it's become so popular is because we can apply context to ChatGPT. If we tell it to contextualize all of the responses that we are now going to look through, it can do so, and it can give us very, very defined and tailored responses to exactly what we're actually looking for. What would you see ChatGPT engines used in? Well, customer service, virtual assistants, educational tools, entertainment, many, many more applications. And I use it day to day in my personal and work life. As I say, it is known for its ability to generate detailed context-aware responses and handle a wide range of topics. Next, we've got Siri, so by Apple. And again, Siri has been around for a number of years now. If you use an Apple device, you'll be familiar with Siri. And it's Apple's voice-activated virtual assistant, and it's available on iOS devices. Now, it uses natural language processing to perform a wide array of tasks through voice commands. What can it do? It manages device functions, set reminders, answers questions, provides navigation, and you can also integrate it with your smart home devices on that Apple iOS ecosystem. So that takes us on to a very similar one. So now looking at Amazon's version of this, which is Alexa. And again, some of us, if not all of us, have come into contact with an Alexa device. And it's Amazon's virtual assistant, primarily used in the Amazon Echo or Echo Dot smart speakers. And it interacts with users through voice commands, offers a broad range of functionalities. Again, what can it do? Well, it can do lots of things like play music, provide weather updates, control your smart home devices, set alarms, answer questions, and also support third-party skills. So highlights that one, extensive integration with smart home devices, just like Siri, and has, as I said, wide range of options when you're integrating it into its own ecosystem with its different devices. And then again, another one very similar to these two, Google Assistant. So Google Assistant is an AI-powered virtual assistant available on Android and iOS devices, as well as Google Home smart speakers. And it leverages Google's extensive data to provide intelligent responses and actions. It can conduct two-way conversations, provide information, set reminders, play media, control smart home devices. And it's, again, strong integration with Google services and products. And just like Siri and Amazon, if you're using its own products in that ecosystem, connects very well with those. Now, the two chatbot systems that I am going to focus on today are ChatGPT by OpenAI and Copilot by Microsoft. Now, Copilot, formerly known as Bing Chat or Bing AI, it's now been rebranded by Microsoft to Copilot. But again, there's various reasons for that, but they basically wanted to make it separate from their search engine, and they have now created an application specifically for Copilot. And if you do have a Microsoft device, you'll probably actually be familiar with the logo. And if you haven't used it already, you'll probably now be familiar with it in a moment, and you'll probably go and have a look at that. So to start with ChatGPT, and I will do most of my examples on ChatGPT today. The reason for that is because most of what I do in here, you can go and do in Copilot anyway, just two different systems. You will get different responses. One of the things I really like about Copilot is it integrates referencing. So when it supplies you with information, it also gives you, it references it and tells you where it's drawing that information from. So it's very useful if you want to cross-check it, cross-reference it, and actually see how viable those sources are. So as I say, ChatGPT, again, what is it? State-of-the-art conversational AI model developed by OpenAI. It's part of a GPT. What is a GPT? It's a generative pre-trained transformer family of models, and they are designed to generate human-like text based on input prompts. So the model uses deep learning technique known as transformer architecture, which allows it to understand and generate coherent and contextually relevant language. Now, before I get into it, what are some key aspects of ChatGPT? So first, you've got language understanding. It can understand and respond to a wide variety of text inputs, ranging from simple questions to complex dialogues. It can maintain context, and that's a key feature for ChatGPT. So it maintains the context over a conversation, no matter how long that conversation is. It won't get sidetracked or go completely off topic. It will maintain the context you ask it to. and it will make it suitable for, as I say, those extended interactions. Text generation, the model generates human-like text that is coherent and contextually appropriate, and it can produce creative content such as stories, poems, articles, and it can even now generate images and logos. And they've even recently bought in voice for ChatGPT now as well, so it can communicate via its own AI voice as well now, which adds that human aspect even more so. So ChatGPT can be used for various applications, so customer support, educational tools, content creation, and the model is trained on a diverse data set containing vast amounts of text from the internet, so it sifts through all relevant data to it. Again, it's a huge data set that it draws that information from. It just brings it down instantly to you. Now, again, if you are using ChatGPT, I will always recommend that you do double check the information it gives you. I mainly use ChatGPT as a template because there are still times where it does provide inaccurate information, but it's very useful if you're using it to build templates or even manage tasks or whatnot. And again, I'll show you all of those in a moment. So just before I jump straight into that, what are some applications and use cases? So I've said customer service. Many companies use ChatGPT to automate customer service, providing instant responses to common queries and freeing up human agents for more complex issues. Educational tools, so it can act as a tutor, helping students with homework, explaining difficult concepts and providing personalized learning experiences. And you can tailor that education to different demographics. So if it's a younger person, a much younger person, you can contextualize this saying support for instance, 5-year-old with this learning, and it will make it much more simplified and easier to understand. Whereas if you tell it to communicate to someone who is a lot older, maybe is going through university, for instance, you can get it to contextualize relevant to them and apply to their needs. It's also using content creation. So writers and marketers use ChatGPT to generate content, including articles, social media posts, personal assistants, so it can perform tasks like setting reminders, managing schedules, and answering general knowledge questions, and also entertainment. People use it to generate stories and even compose musical lyrics. So we're going to go across to ChatGPT. I do have it open on another page, so I'll just make sure I bring up the right page. Here we are. So how do you access it? Well, you can just do a quick web browser search, ChatGPT. When you go in here, you just click Try ChatGPT. We'll ask you to create a login, which you then go and do. Now, ChatGPT is free, but there is a paid-for service. I will just say, and again, this isn't an advert, I do use the paid-for service for ChatGPT, so there is more available to me, and that's just because I use it for a lot more tasks. But again, it is free. You can use this as a free model as well. Just you will see a few more features for me because I pay for it effectively. So that's what I'm going to go off today. So this is ChatGPT. Once you've logged in, you can see I've got my user up here, my login. Again, just got some general admin. So my plan, if you're wanting to pay for ChatGPT or if you have a plan, got my GPT. So previous conversations that you've had with it, you can dip into. So it saves all of your previous conversations. So you can pull back on that information. You can also customize it if that's something you want to do. I'm going to do that today. And also you've got settings in here as well. So just general settings for ChatGPT where you can, again, personalize it. You can change different speech commands. And you've got lots of other options in here. But again, I'm not going to go through that in too much detail. That's something that you can do in your free time. Over at the left-hand side of the page, if I open my sidebar, this shows all of my previous ChatGPT logs. And then also, if I click this little option here, which is like a pad of paper with a pen, that will create a new chat for me. And then up here, you can choose which model of ChatGPT you use. Now, there are different models, and they do different things. So, for instance, you've got ChatGPT 4 legacy model. You've got this one 4.0 mini, which faster for everyday tasks. And again, ChatGPT does advance based on what you are paying for, or if you're using a free service. If it's a paid for, it will do more effective, efficient, quicker tasks. That's because they're using a more sophisticated model of ChatGPT. You've got this one here, which is faster at reasoning. You've got advanced reasoning as well. So again, you might just need ChatGPT to do these things. This one here, collaborate on writing and code. So ChatGPT with Canvas, people use ChatGPT to create code for coding. So again, it's now eliminated a huge need there. But the one I'm going to use is just this one here. So great for most tasks because I want to showcase a few different features. So this is the version of ChatGPT I use. Now you do have some prompts at the bottom here. Down here, so you can ask it to create images, summarize text, brainstorm, get some advice. There's a lot more prompts in here as well. Or you can just type in what you would like ChatGPT to do. So you don't necessarily have to click anything down here. You can also add files into ChatGPT as well. So if you need it to summarize a file, you can add a file in. Now, one thing I will say, don't put any secured documents in here because, again, you don't know how secure ChatGPT is. I wouldn't recommend that. I would more likely use it as a template, but you can, if, say, for instance, you're working on, I don't know, a piece of work yourself, which doesn't have any confidential information, you can just upload into ChatGPT. You can get it to do things like bullet points, summarize, build tables, pull key points. You can pop it all in there as well. You also have an option to search the web in here as well. So if you click here, it shows the most recent searches for people generally using ChatGPT. And then above this, you have got, again, the chat box. So this is where you type in what you would like ChatGPT to do. So let's begin. So the first thing I always recommend with using a chat box is that you contextualize what you're actually wanting it to do. So a good way to do that is you could assign a role to ChatGPT or just straight away tell it who you're talking to and what you need it to do. Let's think of an example. Let's say I want to assign ChatGPT a role. Now, I've stolen some of these examples of a really good video that I found. One example is you can get it to act as a expert podcast interviewer. So you could tell ChatGPT, act as an expert podcast interviewer that is adept at developing thoughtful and engaging questions. So I could type that in, hit enter, and then from then on, whatever I ask it, it will try and respond to me as if it were taking on that role of that expert podcast interviewer. You could even get it to act as a university educator. So you could say act as, I could type in here, act as a university educator, skilled at providing simple instructions to students who are faced with challenges. So again, I'm assigning it a role, and from now on, because I've given it context, it will use that context to provide its responses to me. Why does that matter? Well, when it knows the perspective you're seeking, the AI will be able to provide you with more relevant responses. So another way that you could do this, and I'll just showcase it just straight off the bat and using that good example I used before. Say, and again, this is an example that I've found quite useful when demonstrating this, is I could get it to write a birthday letter to my friend's son. So I could say, write a birthday letter for my friend's son. So I'll just do that. I haven't given it any context. It'll then try and write me a letter. So you can see it's just typing in today's special day, blah, blah, blah. Just general, generic, no life in there. It's just giving me a letter that I could potentially submit. So really not too useful there. Very long as well. So I don't like how long that is. I could just say, make this shorter. So again, just type in, make this shorter. And it will then shorten up what it's already typed for me. So there we go. We got a shorter version. It's not personalized at all. Again, this is a 5-year-old child. They probably don't want to, they probably can't read this very well, or it's not very interesting. So let's say write this for a 5-year-old. So let's just again show you how we can context. Wow. Okay, so it's putting more playful language in there. Again, more tailored to that 5-year-old. I've just added a bit more context in there. We can make it really fun there. So again, 5-year-old son, let's tell it to act as a pirate. So we could say act as a pirate, full stop. And then we could say write a short, again, we're telling it what we want, birthday letter to my friends. Again, it'd help if I could spell. Friends 5-year-old son. So that's the prompt I'm going to give it. And let's see what ChatGPT does. Again, just a fun example, just to showcase what you could do here. And what it's done is it's now using pirate kind of language, tailored to a 5-year-old, and it's written a short birthday letter to keep them engaged. So that just shows you how you can give context to ChatGPT, and it will do it. And if you don't like its response, you can just add another prompt, and it will generate something based off of that. Now, as somebody who supports a lot in the care sector, and I support a lot with care homes, this can be something very useful that you could use, for instance, if you are required to supply letters or different communications to a certain demographic. So for instance, maybe there's an elderly resident in a care home, you could generate communication to that person in a way that they would understand, so it's not too overcomplicated, especially if it's something very technological or new. You don't want to overwhelm them. But also looking at the day-to-day functionality. So if you say, for instance, someone who's working for a care home, you could ask it, create me a care plan for an 85-year-old male with diabetes who requires help, personal care, and walks with a walking stick. And you can add some more context to that. They've had several falls lately. So you can just keep adding different prompts and layering those to tailor to your audience. And I said, something very useful from my experience working with care homes day to day. They can use ChatGPT to tailor this correspondence, develop business plans, develop care plans, and ChatGPT will bring in all examples from that huge data set that it has. And I said it is a very big data set to provide a template for the communication or whatever it is you're working on. Now, as I say, I use it for a template because ChatGPT can still go wrong. I wouldn't use all of the information it supplies you. You can just use it as that template and then you input your own data. I also wouldn't, if you are using it from an organizational standpoint, and again, from the care sector or a care standpoint, I wouldn't put one organization data in there or patient data in there. Again, ChatGPT, we don't know how secure it is. It is not deemed as a secure care system, so I wouldn't put that information in there. I would use it as a template, then copy that into a Word document, and then fill in the relevant information should you need that. Now, I keep flicking off this ChatGPT, so I do apologize. We'll stay on there. There are a few more things that you can do with ChatGPT to really bring it to life. And again, I'll go into detail on all of these now. So let's say I've had an email through from someone in my company. I'm just going to copy one that I've quickly drafted up. Let's just shut this email in here. So I've had this email that says, "Hi Sam, please review the following information. After talking to our partners, X Company Ltd, they require an up-to-date list of contacts for our company. Y Company have requested a meeting some point this week, so they need to get that in the calendar. And then Z Company suggested we send emails out." So there's just a lot of information in there of different tasks that need completing. Then it just says thanks. Now, there's a lot of info in there. What you can do, get ChatGPT to do, is you could get it to create a to-do list from that email. So say you get a big email with lots of different tasks that you're required to do. You could say, create a to-do list from the following. So something like that. And then hit enter. What it's going to do is it's just going to analyze that email, and then it's going to create a to-do list for me. So it's drawn out all the relevant pieces of information, just so I don't miss anything. And we're probably all familiar with getting big blocks of text. And then, again, I've done it certainly as well. I've missed off certain things because there is a lot in there. If we can get ChatGPT to just create a simple to-do list from us based off that email, I say just copy and paste the email in there, as long as there's not any personal or information that can be leaked. Pop it in there. And then, as you can see, it's now made a to-do list for me based off of that email. You can now go even further with this. So for instance, I could then say, organize this list in estimated time of completion. So I know there's a load of tasks. I want to know how long it's likely to take to complete those. So I'm just going to pop that in. And it's now going to tell me how long it's likely to take to do each of these things. So you can see it's now assigned a time scale. See some of those on there will only take 10 minutes, whereas some of those could take 3 to 5 hours to do. So we now know, okay, how to allocate our time well in here. We can go even further on this. So we could say, prioritize them from high priority to low priority. So let's say organize them from high to low in terms of priority. If I can actually spell, and then hit enter. And again, it will now try and see which of these is likely to be most important to get done. And then from there, I can then say, okay, first thing I need to do is I need to get these emails out. It's told me why I need to get this done, because it said, well, in the email, it says it needs to be complete before Tuesday. So it made it time sensitive. It's telling me how to do that. Now I can refer to this list and I can say, okay, it's going to take me 30 to 60 minutes. And I can put that in the diary. So you can see by adding more and more prompts, you can use ChatGPT to help you develop almost like a schedule for you, to-do list. It can manage your time, a great time management tool. But just from that one email, I now know how long it's likely to take me to complete those tasks and which ones I need to tackle immediately, because it's given me a reason as to why as well. So again, adding prompts to what you're asking ChatGPT is really important, because it just allows you to, as I said, it just allows you to understand in more detail how to tackle certain things. It contextualizes it, so it makes it more relevant. But as I say, there is more that we can do here. And again, I apologize that my screen keeps going off. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but we'll get back to it in a second. But some more things that we can do on here is we could, and I'm going to bring up another email that you could have. So say, for instance, I'm sick for work. So I'm just going to copy an email, which I could send. So here's this email. Let's just type this in. I could just say, dear boss, won't be able to attend work today, feeling sick. Really, really to the point. A very cold message. And I'll put, thanks, Sam. So again, could send that. Probably won't come across too well. So there are a few things that you can do to this. You can add a few prompts just to, as I say, just to tailor this more so it comes across more. Again, I've popped that in there. Just from me typing that in and not adding any more information, what it's done is it's actually created a slightly more appropriate sick note, which probably would be received slightly better. So ChatGPT itself even realized, okay, that's just not going to sit. Maybe send this. It might come across a bit better. So as I say, you can send that through. It is a worry often when we send text or emails that someone might interpret it wrong. So what I could say is I could say, make this more formal. So let's try that. And we'll just give ChatGPT a minute. So it's just going to make it slightly more formal for work. So it could come across from a formal context. But again, could come across quite cold. So you could make it funny. So again, I don't recommend this, but this is just something you can do. You can add humor to text. ChatGPT is able to recognize this and do that. So you could put, make this funnier. So let's see what it does with that. So, dear boss, regret to inform you that I've been taken hostage by a vicious cold, or maybe it's just my blanket fort. Either way, I'm officially out of commission today. I'll do my best to rally the troops, aka my immune system, and report back for duty as soon as I can. Thanks for understanding my temporary surrender to the forces of germs. So it's added some humor in there. It's made it a bit more lighthearted. Again, it's just taken away that coldness to it. You can do this with any form of text that you're sending. Do tailor it to your audience, recognize your audience. And that's a good way where you can say, how should I write this if I was sending it to this person? Again, an example you used a moment ago, 85-year-old male or a 5-year-old child. Again, you can contextualize it in that manner. I could say show anger. So could, for whatever reason, add that in there. So, dear boss, I'm extremely unwell. I'm not be able to turn word. Frankly, I've been pushing myself hard, and it seems my body has finally had enough. I need this time to recover, and I hope it's understood how much effort I put in for reaching this point. So it's added some anger to that. And again, you can add comedy to that, or you can, again, really contextualize it in the example I did before. Please write this letter from a pirate, and it will try and do so. So the reason I'm showcasing these is because ChatGPT relies heavily on prompts, and you can get a lot more out of ChatGPT by using different prompts to do various things, such as I say, sending letters, building tables, developing plans, care plans, whatever industry it is you're using this for, it will have some form of use case if you are using written text or prompts day to day. Now, another thing that you can do is you can get it to build tables. So I could say, again, I'm just going to use an example, build a table of on endangered animals. Again, it would have my keyboard here, not engaged animals. Endangered animals. I'll just hit enter. ChatGPT will now search this data set, and it will then start building me a table. As you can see, it is now doing it all for me. Instead of me sitting on a Word document or an Excel document and building these tables myself, it will do it for me. Again, we'll just give it a moment to complete that. So it's just still adding in some endangered animals in there for me. Again, we can ask it to add more. We can tell it do a list of 50 endangered animals. Again, you can add context, add those prompts to really build it out a bit more. Now, something else I can do here is I could say, tell me the number. So add the number of animals. So let's say add the number of animals. So it's now going to search the web, as it says. It's now going to rebuild my table, but this time it's going to tell me how many estimated population for each of these animals there are. So it's just added a bit more information for me. It's sourced that information. I would always recommend that you cross-reference this information when you're asking for exact figures, as it has been known to still get this wrong, especially if you are using a free version of ChatGPT. Just to be aware, it is not as sophisticated. I know the free version was developed 2022, and obviously in 2 years, AI has come very far. So just check those responses. And that's why it's often good to just use ChatGPT as a, it's good to use ChatGPT as a, can't get the word out, as a template, which is often what I will do. I'll just get it to make a template for me, and then I'll put in the relevant information based on what it's telling me. So that just showcases some of the features you can use in ChatGPT. And again, my screen, I'm just going to swap these. We'll go back to the relevant slide. And that takes us over to Bing or AI, also known as Copilot. It's now been rebranded to Copilot. Again, if I do say Bing Chat or Bing AI, it's because that is how I was first introduced to it. And it only changed last year to Copilot. So they rebranded the whole thing. Now, it originally was found in the Bing search engine. So if you use Microsoft Edge, again, Microsoft's web browser, you'll be familiar with, or you should be familiar with Bing Chat. It was integrated into the chat. So you had an option to click on it. It opened up its own chatbot where you could do very similar to ChatGPT. Now, that said, one thing I really liked about Bing Chat, now known as Copilot, is that it provides referencing to the data it finds for you. So, for instance, it will tell you exactly where it sourced the information from, and below it, it will give you the sources. So you can literally click on the links to just cross-reference them and check if they are a source that might not be too reliable or might be very reliable. But as I said, it does very much the same as ChatGPT. Now, I've brought it up here. I'm just going to go across to it just to show you. One thing I will quickly highlight, actually, if I just close this slideshow very quickly, you can see on my screen at the bottom here, there's this logo. Now that is Copilot. So if you're using a Windows device, and you could go into Windows and you type in Copilot, pilot, you can see it's all one word. So if we type in Copilot in here, Copilot, there we are, right there. So it's an app, and you can add that to your taskbar. They have now created an app for it. So if you do have a Windows account, you'll be able to log in. If you don't have a Windows account, it will prompt you to create a Windows account. Now, you just need to click into this, and this will open up Copilot. You do have the option of logging into an organizational Copilot, so it tailors it to my work standpoint. So I have a personal Microsoft account. I also have a work Microsoft account. So I have a business account with Microsoft that I pay for. And because I have that, you can see it logs me in with my business account up here. And so I am logged in and I can access it like so. Now, if you use the Microsoft 365 Office suite of programs, if you have it, you've downloaded it, you bought it, or for a work standpoint, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, you will also have a login for Copilot. And again, you just need to use that login to access it. Now, as you see, it's very similar to ChatGPT in how it is laid out because it is a chat bot. Again, there's a few features in here that you can have a look at. So you've got your panel. If you open that, that's just your previous chats, exactly like ChatGPT, but this time it's on the right side. You've got the settings up here as well. You can also open a new chat. So just click here to start a new chat. And when you open it, it does give you some prompts that you can begin with already. So for instance, here are some that, again, you can use. Create a binary search in Python, create a pop art image, stand out socials, what are some tips for writing a great LinkedIn post. These are just some examples of prompts, how you can ask different questions in Copilot. Now, as I say, Copilot will provide you with referencing. I'm just going to check that. Again, this is where I show you and it doesn't work, but hopefully, fingers crossed it does, as it has been working most of the time. Let's see, build a table on endangered animals. Again, it will either build me a table or it just provide me the information that I can fill out a table. Two different chatbots, but they do different things. So this one is, yep, building the table for me, just like we had before. It's actually very quick. And as you can see, and this is the feature which I just wanted to show you, at the bottom of this text, you can see it has these references. So these are the sources that it is used to find this information. And now I can click into these, it'll take me to the web page and it will show me the information that it's used. So I can cross-reference if that is accurate or not. So again, very useful if you need to provide referencing or need to source where the information is going from. Now, again, it does use prompts, so you can contextualize the information, but I use the two of them and I use them for different things. As I say, I use Copilot when I want it to provide me with references or just quickly do some research. I use ChatGPT to help me build templates of things like emails, plans, provide or summarize information for me as well. So if I go to an article, I can copy all of the information contained within an article. And I can copy that information into ChatGPT and just say, summarize this. So I already have the research. I just want it to summarize it for me, create bullet points on it for me. So I'll copy the whole thing, paste it in there, summarize this in bullet point form. And it can go through a 10-page article and produce me half a page of information on the key points. Whereas with Copilot, I will use it if I'm for research purposes. I use Copilot because I want to check the sources it's using so I have the most relevant information. So as I say, I don't want to go overwhelm too much on AI, ChatGPT. There's a lot there. And I've taken you through quite a few of those prompts and showcased how you can use it. The main feature is the chatbots. If you do use context, if you do use those prompts, there are a lot of things that you can get ChatGPT or Copilot to do for you. But it's just showcasing that it's incredibly useful. And for myself, from a work standpoint, it is a huge time saver when I'm researching, or as I say, summarizing bits of data. Instead of me doing it, I can quickly just get it to do it for me in a split second. And again, very useful. Now, Again, ChatGPT is free. Copilot is free. You do need to create an account for both of them to access them. But those are just two of the most used chatbots that people are currently using. So you've got Microsoft's own, and you've got OpenAI's. But that is everything for today. I haven't seen any questions in the chat as of yet. So if you do have any questions, please do pop them in the chat, or if you've got any more questions you want to stay behind and ask them, please do. Just very quickly, just some additional information. I do lots of different sessions. It's not just on this. I do sessions on all things digital. So again, very wide range, but I also can provide one-to-one support if there's anything you really need help on. If you go across to our website, you can look at any of the future sessions. That's the sussexdigitalteam.co.uk. Over on the right-hand side of the page, you will see any upcoming sessions that we can support with. This is to those in the care sector. So if you are coming in today from a care home, we can provide support there as well. So much more information on the website. And I've also included my personal email there. So if you do need any one-to-one support with anything, please do reach out. But I hope to see you on any future sessions. But that is everything from me. So again, haven't seen any questions. I can see you've been very thorough. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming along. I hope it was some benefit to you. Thanks, Sam. It's been great.